Hello students, how are you all? Hope you are doing great and taking good care of yourself. A warm welcome to English class. I am Sarita and today we are going to start a new topic of grammar, clauses. In the previous video we have learnt about phrases and now we will talk about clauses. So phrases were the group of words which do not have complete sense but some sense. But clauses are the group of words which contain a subject and a verb. So clauses are the parts of sentences. So different clauses, group of clauses can make a sentence. तो जो clauses के छोटे छोटे groups होते हैं subject plus verb के, उनसे मिलकर sentences बनते हैं. तो sentences में एक clause भी हो सकता है या एक से ज़्यादा clauses भी it can contain. For example, let us see the definition first. A clause is a group of words that contain a verb and a subject of its own. It can be a part of a sentence or a sentence by itself. If a sentence contains one clause, that means one subject and one verb, that means it is having one clause. If it is having more than one subject, more than one verb, then it will be having more than one clauses. For example, I know that he cannot do it. Now, I know, I is subject, know is verb. That he cannot do it. Now, one subject and verb clause combination here we have found. Then second one, he, subject, do, verb. So again in this clause also we have subject and verb. That means this sentence contains two clauses. One clause I know and the second clause is that he cannot do it. So there are two clauses in this sentence. Clauses means combination of subject and verb. So wherever we find the combination of subject plus verb, that means it is a clause. So let us see the types of clauses. There are two types of clauses: main clause, subordinate clause. Main clause, as the name itself is telling, it is main. It is playing the main role in the sentence. So it will be independent clause. It doesn't depend some other sentence for its meaning. And subordinate clause is a dependent clause. It depends on the main clause for its meaning. So that's why it is called as the dependent clause. So there are three kinds of dependent clause: noun clause, adjective clause, adverb clause. So let us see the noun clauses first. As we have learnt, like noun phrases, they perform the function of a noun in a sentence. They are usually introduced by that, why, what, whatever, when, where, etc. So the WH words they are introduced with. So noun clauses, they perform the function of noun in a sentence. Let us see the example. I like what I see. So now if I ask the question from this verb like, I like what? What I see. So I am getting the answer as what I see. So what I see becomes an object of the sentence. So if it is an object of the sentence, that means it is a noun. So it is performing the function of noun. What I see. So it is performing the function of noun. That's why it is noun clause. And why it is called as clause? Because it is having subject plus verb. So it is a combination of subject plus verb. So that's why, and it is performing the function of noun. That's why it is called as noun clause. Next example, he knows that the story is true. So he knows, the main clause, that the story is true. He knows what? That the story is true. So this clause, that the story is true, is functioning as noun in the sentence. That's why this clause is called as noun clause. Let us see one more example to be more clear. It is remarkable that he believes his own story. So it is remarkable, this is the first clause. that he believes his own story. This is the second clause. So it is remarkable. What is remarkable? That he believes his own story. Again, this clause, that he believes his own story, is functioning as noun in the sentence. That's why again it becomes a noun clause. Same like phrases. The only difference between clauses and phrases are the group of words, and clauses are having one subject and a verb at least. So that's why they are called as clauses. Next, adjective clause. They perform the function of adjective in a sentence. They modify the noun or pronoun, obviously, because they are adjectives, so they will modify some noun or the pronoun. So let us see one example. He is the king who lives in a glass palace. So as we have done in phrases also. So first clause, he is. This is the first clause. It is having subject and verb. And after that the king is there, which is a noun. And this noun is described by this clause, who lives in a glass palace. So that's why this whole clause is describing about the king. That which kind of king we are talking about? The king who lives in a glass palace. So this clause becomes adjective clause because it is saying something extra about the king. Next example, this is the time which we had been looking forward to. So this is the time. This is again it is a clause, and time, it is a noun, and this clause which we had been looking forward to is describing about the noun time. That's why again this clause becomes adjective clause. Next, she is the girl who won a gold medal. So again she is, we are having subject and verb. So this is first clause. Then this clause, the girl is a noun, and who won a gold medal, this clause is describing about the girl. That's why it becomes adjective clause. So now we will study about the adverb clauses. There are many kinds of adverb clauses. So we will let us move on to the adverb clauses. So now we will talk about adverb clauses. So adverb clauses are the clauses which modify the verb, the adjective, or another adverb in the main clauses. They give information about the time, place, manner, reason, or purpose of the actions. So let us see the types of adverb clauses. Adverb clause of manner. Adverb clause of manner describes how the action is performed in the main clause. So let us see this example. The man was talking as if he was the leader. How the man was talking? As if he was the leader. So this clause is describing about the action which is there in the main clause. It is describing about the talking of the man. So it becomes adverb clause of manner. It also answers the question of how. Then next, adverb clause of time. The adverb clause of time is related with the time. So it describes when the action in the main clause takes place. So it will also answer the question of when. For example, while she was cooking, I came in. When I came in, while she was cooking. So this clause becomes adverb clause of time because it is answering the question of when, and it is telling about the time of the action which took place in the main clause. So let us move on to the next kind, adverb clause of condition. It explains on what condition the action will occur in the main clause. For example, as long as you cooperate, there would be no problem. When there would be no problem. So this is the condition of not having problem. That as long as you cooperate. So this is on this condition, there will be no problem. So that's why it is adverb clause of condition. Next, adverb clause of reason. Reason is related with why. So it tells us why the action in the main clause occurred. So why the thing is happening. The man works hard because he has debts to offset. So why the man works hard? Because he has debts to offset. He has to pay off his debts. So that's why the man works hard. Even because is also there, so because is also related with the reason. So it becomes adverb clause of reason because it tells us the reason behind the action done in the main clause. So the man works hard. Why he works hard? Because he has debts to offset. So that's why it is the reason. That's why it becomes adverb clause of reason. Adverb clause of result. It shows the result of the action done in the main clause. Whatever action is done in the main clause, the result will be there in that another subordinate clause of, that is adverb clause of result. For example, the rain fell so heavily that the roads got flooded. So the result of heavy rain is, falling of heavy rain is roads got flooded. So this becomes the result of this action in the main clause. That's why this clause, that the roads got flooded, becomes adverb clause of result. Next is adverb clause of comparison. As the name itself is suggesting, it draws comparison between two things. He is not so clever, between two clauses. So he is not so clever as you think. So there is a comparison of cleverness and thinking, that as you think, he is not so clever. So this is about the comparison of this clause, so that it becomes adverb clause of comparison. Next is adverb clause of concession. It is used when the action taking place in the main clause is in opposition to the action in the subordinate clause. Both the actions are in oppositions. Main clause action and subordinate clause action, they will be in opposition. So even though he cannot drive, he loves car. मतलब उसको वो कार्स को लव करता है, लेकिन उसे चलाना, ड्राइव करना नहीं आता फिर भी. तो इस both these actions are in opposition to each other. So that's why even though he cannot drive, this becomes adverb clause of concession. So this was all about the adverb clauses. Let's have a small recap of this topic. Clauses. Clauses are the group of words which contain a subject and a verb at least. So clause is a group of words which have a subject and a verb of its own. It can exist independently or it can be a part of sentence. So clauses are of two types: main clause, or we can say it as independent clause, and the second one is subordinate clause, and we also call it as independent clause, dependent clause. So there are two kinds of clauses. Independent clause, dependent clause. Dependent clause is called as subordinate clause. Independent clause is called as the main clause. So subordinate clause, which is also called as dependent clause, it has three types: noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. Noun clauses function as nouns in the sentences, like whatever I say is true. So what is true? Whatever I say. So whatever I say becomes noun clause because it is functioning as a noun in a sentence. Next was the adjective clause. Adjective clause function as adjective in the sentence. So they are also called as adjective clauses, like this is the boy whom I met yesterday. So whom I met yesterday is describing about the boy, which is a noun. So again, whom I met yesterday, it becomes an adjective clause. Then comes adverb clauses. Adverb clauses are of many types. They modify the verb, the adjective, or another adverb in the clauses, in the main clauses. They give information about the time, place, manner, purpose of the action, and all these things. So first one was the adverb clause of manner, answers the question of how, and then adverb clause of time, it answers the question of when. Adverb clause of place answers the question of where. Adverb clause of condition, on what condition the action is happening in the main clause. And then adverb clause of reason, it tells us the reason of the action happening in the main clause. Then adverb clause of result, it shows the result of the action which is there in the main clause. Then adverb clause of comparison, it draws comparison between two clauses. Adverb clause of concession, it is used when the action taking place in the main clause is in opposition to the action in the subordinate clause. So this was all about the clause, all about the topic clauses. Hope you all have understood. Thanks for joining. Stay blessed and healthy. Take good care of yourself. And if you have any doubts, you can call me or you can message me even. So take care of you. Bye bye.